What's going on, everyone? Alex here, and if you're new to the channel, this channel is all about filmmaking, photography, gear, tips, tricks, reviews, you name it. If you're interested in any of those, please consider subscribing, and let's jump in today's video. Today's video, we are talking about the Canon C100 Mark II, and is it still relevant in 2020? The Canon C100 Mark II was my very first cinema camera, and it holds a special place in my heart. It's a very capable camera, even in 2020. Yes, it does shoot 1080p, but it is using a 4K sensor and it's downsampling to 1080p, so it's a very sharp 1080p. And if you pair it with the right glass, I don't think anyone will be able to tell the difference. And when I say pair it with the right glass, the only two lenses that I rocked with the Canon C100 Mark II was the Sigma 18-35 and the Sigma 50-100. Those two lenses with the Canon C100 Mark II is like a match made in heaven. I did a brand piece back in 2017, and I'll let the footage speak for itself.
We saw a need for a high quality selvage denim company with more of a modern twist to it. We wanted to bring some new, unique, one-of-a-kind designs, but with quality materials. We were sick of, buying jeans that just were high fashion, but the quality just wasn't there. So we sought out to do that.
What we bring to the market is a completely different type of jean from any other jean out there. Usually you'll go to the store and you'll buy an off-the-rack jean that's completely washed out, that is maybe distressed, and we wanted to do something different. We wanted to bring a clean jean to the market. We wanted to utilize the selvage denim in a way that a lot of people haven't yet. So you can always tell a pair of F&L jeans by our selvage details.
Usually it just kind of starts with an idea, and then we'll get a couple pieces of paper, we'll make a couple sketches, we'll do fronts and backs and kind of see what we like better, what one works together, and then we'll actually start drafting out a real pattern. So drafting out a real pattern is one of the most tedious parts to fashion design. A lot of people think it's just sewing, but if the pattern's not right, it doesn't matter how good you are at sewing. We'll get the pattern down, and then we'll just whip them up together. And then from there, we'll actually have like a jean or a jacket or something that one of us can try on. And then once we try it on, we'll critique it. We'll like, oh, it'd be better if this angle was coming in here, it'd make the body slimmer. And then from there, we'll go back to the drawing board, sketch it out again, redo the pattern, and then just kind of fix it again. Every pair of jeans that is sold on our website, that has been sold in our store, isn't made from a factory in LA or a factory overseas. It's actually literally handcrafted by Levi and I. Not many people know how to sew with industrial sewing machines, so the fact that Levi and I self-taught ourselves from the last 7 years how to use, how to maintain, how to fix the machines, and self-teaching ourselves with patterns, and the fact that it's bespoke. So if you come into our store, the F&L experience, we'll actually hand make you a pair of jeans in the store based on your measurements. It's doing the fine little details that make the jean last longer, and that's one of the things that I think is the most important. So I think that's really the thing that we kind of strive for, is making that high quality, one-of-a-kind type looking jean.
I think sometimes the inspiration comes from boredom, honestly. That's a bad word probably to say, but it really is. It's just, what can we do different on this 5-pocket pair of jeans? Because we want something that is simple, but at the same time, we have a whole nother line that we want to come out with that's just wild. But it's not wild in the sense of washing it and tearing it apart. It's in technique. It's more in taking apart the pattern and putting it back together in a form that no one has seen yet. Because it's expensive. People have to pay pattern makers. People have to pay for samples. They have to do that stuff. We don't have to do that stuff. We think of an idea, we make it, and it's that easy. We've gotten this feedback from our customers, and we've gotten feedback from just Frank, even in looking at the jean and knowing, okay, we should probably change this by this amount of measurement and this and this. And so it's really cool that, I can take the design aspect and I can look at it from a different light, and we can change some switch up here and switch up there. And, we're finally to that level where Frank and I feel like we have created the perfect jean.
The idea is always growing still. I don't think it's a full realization that it's actually been happening sometimes, just going from the beginning of designing and coming up with the name to actually now making, $1,000 quilted biker jeans that take 10 times longer than a normal pair of jeans. And we're excited for that next step, to be able to take it from just Wichita, Kansas, our hometown, online, so that the whole nation can actually see and experience what F&L has to bring to the fashion world.
We couldn't have done it without the support of our families, the support of our friends, and obviously the support of Wichita. They've been huge help in getting our name out there and coming in and talking to us and just telling us that, hey, this is cool, keep doing it. You know, sometimes as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, small business owner, you kind of get down on yourself like, oh man, is this really gonna work? Like, you gotta make money, you gotta feed a family, you have to make money to live in the world today. And so sometimes you get down on yourself because you're like, wow, is this gonna work? Is this really gonna happen? And so for people to come in and to support us and to buy those jeans and to talk to us and tell us like, hey man, I love my jeans, they fit great, they're the best fitting pair of jeans I own, I want another pair. That's like the ultimate compliment to us. To see someone walking down the street in F&Ls, that gives me goosebumps.
So after seeing that, is the Canon C100 Mark II still relevant in 2020? As I stated at the beginning of the video, yes and no. Yes, out of the fact that you're gonna get an amazing looking image out of a 6-year-old camera, and that's saying a lot about the Canon C100 Mark II. Second, battery life out of the Canon C100 Mark II was fantastic. If you paired it with a BP955 and a BP975, those two batteries lasted all day. All day. Third, it has built-in NDs, and if you've never had built-in NDs before, you really are missing out. They're fantastic. I mean, I do love my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, but not having built-in NDs was a big trade-off for me. It was worth it because I'll get into that in the no section here in a little bit, but built-in NDs really are fantastic, especially considering the Canon C100 Mark II was a run and gun camera. Still is a run and gun camera, and if you're gonna be running and gunning, built-in NDs are a lifesaver. And last but not least, memory, and that's kind of a double-edged sword. You can actually shoot an entire wedding day on like a 32 gigabyte SD card or even a 64 gigabyte SD card. The bitrate from this camera is tiny, very, very tiny. And that is a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing is that you can store, like I said, shooting like a whole wedding day on a 32 gigabyte or a 64 gigabyte SD card, and that's awesome. But the bad thing is that the bitrate is very tiny. I mean, you're not gonna get a lot of information out of it, which, again, the image that you get out of the Canon C100 Mark II is, it's almost like it shouldn't be happening because it's shooting to a low bit rate and it's 8-bit 420, but you can still pull an amazing, amazing looking image out of that camera. Flip the coin to the other side, there's really only one reason why the Canon C100 Mark II is not relevant in 2020, and that's because it's $2,700. $2,700 for a 1080p cinema camera. And if you spend $2,000, you could get a whole slew of different cameras that shoot at higher resolutions, higher bit rates. I mean, even the Pocket 6K is $2,000. Like I said earlier, you don't get built-in NDs, but if you can live with that trade-off, which I think a lot of people can, yeah, you're gonna get a higher resolution, higher bit rates. I mean, raw recording built internally, the list goes on and on. But if you're wanting to dip your toes in the world of cinema cameras and you don't necessarily need 4K or 6K resolution, and you happen to find a Canon C100 Mark II used for like $1,800, I'd say go for it because it was a great first cinema camera for me. Opened up a lot of doors professionally, and if you slap the right glass on there, I guarantee doors will open for you too. Well, that does it for me on this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you aren't already. Tap the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Till next time, shoot to create.